Hey guys, in this series I want to do something new. Normally I've been showing you my projects when they were finished, and then I gave you a little walkthrough on how I created them and how you could create them yourself, right? This time I want to flip it around. I want to start at the beginning. It all started with this. Perhaps if you follow me on social you've already seen it, but I call it my Cesna popsicles, and this one as well. And these are the buttons you use to turn on the avionics bus 1 and 2 and to turn on the battery master and battery alternator, right? Pretty distinctive look. And that made me think that perhaps it's a fun idea to make everything I need to start the Cessna, fly it, and then add the parts when I go along, because you know it's COVID time, so sourcing the parts takes some time. I want to make sure that I'm not going to be building a cockpit. So I'm going to want to build the functionalities, and I want to build the buttons, and I want to build switches and valves, but I don't want it to feel like a home cockpit. I want it to have more of a, you know, game controller feel. Like if you buy a steering wheel for gaming, it's something else to actually have like a car in your house, right? I don't think you're stupid, so I know that you're onto me. I would love to have an airplane in my house, but the missus will murder me. So that's the real reason. Let's get further into it. So I wanted to keep it low profile, kind of. Gotta be honest, it won't be completely low profile. But yeah, I'm gonna be making this. This video we're gonna see what we need. In the next video we're gonna be modeling, we're gonna be wiring, we're gonna be programming, gonna be from start to finish, how I create this project, and perhaps even for you easier to follow along because you don't have to, you know, retroactively get everything in place. Like I mentioned, parts are gonna be an issue right now, or not an issue, but they're gonna take a bit longer because the postal offices here are overcumbered. Postal services, not the office, because we don't have postal offices anymore. Due to COVID, everyone orders everything by mail to come to their house, so it's quite obviously that things take longer. And because I get them from China, which is cheaper, and that takes even longer, etc. So yeah, let's just dive into the Cessna and see what we actually need. And if you want to keep updated, don't forget to subscribe somewhere down below in this video. Have fun! Well, there is one part I already have that's finished, right? And that's the speed gauge that I've already shown in the video, but I'll show you again. Let's see if I can get it in shot. There we go. It's this one. It has the backlights. Here we go. Yeah, here we go. There's lightning in it. It has a working needle. Yeah, working needle. And it's modeled after the Cessna steam gauge. This one, you know, looks kind of the same. Bit difference because, you know, I didn't have the proper knowledge to make that lower part. So that is something that you already have, so we don't have to be looking at that. The other steam gauges, I'm still like contemplating if I'm gonna make them and if I need them, but we'll get into that later in the project, right? So actually, before we get started, for those of you that are using my connector and library, I have some good news. I would hate it if I would have to go in and download the library every time when there's an update, remove the old versions, or else they could clash. Well, don't worry. From now on, you can go to Tools, Manage Libraries. It will open the library manager. I was a bit too soon, but bits and droids. Here we go. Flight Sim Library. It's in here right now. You can just go to Tools, Library Manager, search for the Bits and Droids Flight Sim Library. If a new update becomes available, you can update it from the Arduino IDE itself. It will even ask an update is available for one of your libraries. Do you want to update? It's your choice, but it makes it easier for you so you don't have to go in, remove the old versions, and that you're always up to date. And let's just continue with the video. So for now, I've loaded up the Cessna 172 Skyhawk with the G1000 at Amsterdam. As you can see, quite a busy airport at the moment. I don't know where they're all going because most of the countries are on a no-fly list currently here. So it doesn't matter. What do I want to achieve? Well, first of all, I want to create a feeling that I I have to touch my mouse as least as possible to start and fly the plane from start to finish, right? So we're going to see which components we need, what kind of ideas we might already get, and how we could implement them, perhaps even, and which of the parts we need to skip for now. Well, first of all, with the G1000 takes up the most attention is the G1000 itself. Unfortunately, these events aren't linked to the G1000 yet, at least input events. So I can't really get this to work without them first implementing that. But because I love the G1000 a little bit, you know, I see a lot of hate on the fora and stuff, but I'm a noob. So if I fly around and I see an airport, etc., I have no clue how to spot the landing strip if it's dark or etc. So on the G1000 you actually get, you know, the... Can I zoom in on this? No, I can't. But you can actually see like the runway on the screen nicely up against the green background. So that helps me out a lot to get started. You know, the G530 also has a map, but it doesn't have this thing. I don't even know how it's called. Primary flight display, I think. So that's something that I want to implement, but I can't yet. Right now, what my idea is that I'm gonna, you know, create a LCD screen, because we can pop this out by pressing right alt click. Oh, sorry. And as we might see, we can then just drag this to the LCD screen that I will hook up to my computer, and then create a microcontroller interface around it with all the buttons, switches, etc. So that is something that I want to work out, but I can't at the future right now. So that's are those little things that I need to figure out before we get started, like what do I want in my project and what can I actually put in it. Now, the first thing that comes to mind are the... Let's do a cold start, shall we? Turn everything off with the easy key. Here we go. Fine. So we're all completely dark, completely still. Parking brake is on. Well, usually we would start by... what do we start with? We close the fuel shut-off valve, I think. Not quite sure. Checklist. Before starting pre-flight. Yeah, master switch battery on. Avionics switch bus off, so master battery on. This one on. So we need these buttons. Point 1. I already found some 3D files on the internet that I just downloaded. They look pretty good, I think. I like them. I printed them and they work. And the beauty of it is, I'm gonna show you with the camera. In the back, they have like these little gaps. And that's something where you can just put a little toggle switch in and it will snap into the toggle switch and then use that as a button. So that is why I like these. They only took like 30 minutes to print or something. So all in all, I really like these. Easy to implement, and that's what got this project started. So we got that base covered regarding the hardware we need, right? We know what we want. Okay, the battery master is on. Avionics switch bus 1 on. Here we go. Bus 1 off, correct. Now we hear the fan, fine. So now we know we also need the white ones. And we already got those printed. So we got that covered as well. Pitted heat is something we need. We need all the lights. And the beauty about this is we already got the toggle box, right? So that's going to be just our starting point. It's going to be the same principle, only with a little bit of different knobs. The cabin power 12 volts. I don't even know what it is, but we don't need that, right? Doesn't even work in game yet. Pitted heat, yeah, that's already there. We need something to work with the trim. Now, as you might see, it can rotate quite a huge amount. So we need something that can rotate the disc at a lot of distance, but we need a range of 0 to 100, like we're used to with, let's say, throttle. Let's wait a second, because, you know, yeah. Fine. Sorry about that. So we need something like a potentiometer to see when it's at 0 and when it's at 100. And I think we're gonna need a gear, because as we're able to tell, this kind of rotation is way more than a potentiometer could handle. You could also go with the easy route and put in a rotary encoder, because you know, you can just turn and then pretend that you can't go further than 100%, you know, put a cutoff point in there. So that's something that I still need to work out how we're going to do that, but we at least need the pitch trim. I believe the fuel selector as well. Okay, now we got this one covered, right? Yeah. Pre-flight inspection, brakes, test and set. The pedals. Are we gonna do it? Are we gonna create some? Are we just gonna do it? We're gonna create pedals as well. The rudder pedals and the brake pedals. Circuit breakers. Well, these aren't really relevant because we can't do anything with them. Electrical equipment. Okay, fuel selector. Yeah, looks fun as well. Looks, you know, kind of retro. Fuel shutoff valve. Also fine. I was thinking for the fuel shutoff valve to create a... Let me grab one. I got these little stop buttons. Here we go. So the moment that I pull this out, I wanted to hit the stop button, you know, something internal. And then we know it's out, and then if it isn't pressed, we know it's closed. So that's something, how I want to handle that. Shutoff valve is going to be something that we can switch, perhaps even also a buttons. Gonna see flaps, of course, we need the flaps, so that's something we're going to be working on. I really don't know if, because if I like change it, it goes into intervals, but I could also put it at like, you know, 72%. So I don't know how it really works in the Cessna 172. So I'm going to figure that out to see if I can actually put it in between, or that it just, you know, uses these set steps. So that's something we're going to work out. The key. I love the key. I want the key. I'm going to do something with a key. Right now, I've got it in my mind to... So what I've got ordered, actually I don't have them in yet, is this. Now, it's a bit like the key, right? You have the 1023. I think I accidentally bought this one instead of this one, but that's fine. 1023, you could create a little faceplate to actually represent the steps of the... If you get a faceplate, this is fine as well, you know, we can alter this. But we can just switch it. I don't know how they work, how they get wired up, etc. So we're going to figure that out as well together. I think this looks cool. Perhaps we can even unscrew the cap, create something to go on top, and get it to work with an actual key. I just found my spare key box. It's filled with spare keys going back all the way to my childhood. So we've got keys lying around for days. And if we could get this to work to, you know, get it started, that would be so amazing. At least I think. Now, there are some things that are also in the plane that I would like to implement but don't work yet. Let's say these ones. The panel brightness. I like this. I love it. I use them a lot. You know, it looks cool at night. But unfortunately, in the SDK, they aren't implemented yet. I couldn't find anything about it and nothing on the internet. So that's something, when I get it to work, I will implement it. But up until then, it's going to be just tough luck. So, throttle control, also an important part. We're going to be using linear ball bearings, which will make the pulling out and pushing it in easier. Some linear tapers, potentiometers to go with it. We're going to be using the mixture control. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to implement the rotation and etc. to get it, you know, I believe you can rotate these. for fine tuning. If you press the button and press push and pull, you can go in and out fully, if I'm correct, if I watched the videos and paid attention. So I want that as well. Gonna be a bit harder, don't know how to implement that yet. Flaps already discussed. Airspeed meter we already have. This one I was thinking perhaps with a TFT screen because I have no clue how I would implement this with servos. It can be done probably, but right now my inspiration to do this is a bit limited, I think. And I don't want to be bothered by creating a clock kind of work inside with gears and wheels inside of wheels, you know. Actually, there are just two. But then you have this one that's gonna move in separate. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be doing this one. Mainly because it seems like a lot of work, and I'm not afraid to do a lot of work, but I need to sleep on this because I have no clue how I would, you know. No, I don't know right now. Switch to alternate static port valve. Okay. Let's see. Switch to alternate static port valve. Okay, so apparently it has something to do with the calibration of the steam gauges. That then, if you use it, it can read the static from inside the cabin, inside or outside. Not quite sure, but I want it. I'm gonna put it in. I don't know, I like the red button. Can I just put it? Yeah. So it's gonna be the same like the static. Here we go. Now the yoke is gonna be, this is gonna be saved for last. I want the yoke, I want this to be on top, you know, the trim, pitch trim, beacon light. Oh, disconnect AP trim. If the AP can use the trim, right? See, I have no clue. I have no clue about planes. I just do something. Heat control air. I couldn't find this in the SDK either. Would be fun, but unfortunately it's not in there. This is, how is it called? Emergency use. Oh, yeah, but what's the name of the button? Emergency? I don't know. Let's just find out, right? So I have no clue how this button is called. So I'm not going to be including it, I guess. Something in the middle. DME, toggle DME audio. That should be in, right? DME select. Yeah, that's in. So this middle part can also be implemented. Pretty easy. Push buttons. I need a way to get this to... Does it light up? Does it light up, but the avionics bus is off. So that's... yeah. Okay, so they do light up. So we could create some backlighting and get this translucent in some way. Oh boy. Yeah, we can do this, especially the light on top. With a triangle, yeah, why not? So this should be fun. Passenger address system, or PA. Well, these aren't all in, but to be quite honest, we could just include them and do nothing, or get it to do something else. It's fine with me, at least. No, they're not really all in. Lots of them don't work. So I'm just gonna assume that we're gonna include the ones we do need. This is fine. And the rest, I couldn't really be bothered. Why would I need a passenger address system? You know, I wouldn't be using it. Be putting it in. No. So all in all, it's gonna give us boatloads to do. Only downside is we're going to be waiting for the parts. So when they are arriving, I will keep you guys updated. You can follow me on socials as well. In the description below, I put a link to be the first to get the latest updates when something comes in and I begin working on the next part. Because I have no clue when that will be. Perhaps next week, perhaps next month. It all depends, right? So, if we take a look at it, it's gonna be quite manageable, I think. We're gonna do this in one panel. Perhaps even include this like in the, without the G1000, you have it like lined up in a line. 7 buttons, on the left side the alternator and battery, and right side the avionics bus, or the other way around, not quite sure. With the key to the side. Now, I could put it on my desk, which would be, yeah, or I could mount it below my desk, like where you sit, and have it hanging there that you could use it. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to be using that one. The parking brake I do want to mount underneath the desk. You know why not? Because it looks, yeah, looks cool. Oh, it's just a bit slow. Where I'm gonna put this, I have no clue. Oh, what I've gotten myself into. But we're gonna be finding something. We're gonna come up with some great solutions, or perhaps not, but then we learn from them, right? So yeah, this series will be a long one, and it's gonna take a while to finish. So if you like this video, like, and if you want to keep updated, subscribe down below, and I'll see you in the next one.